and listen to them. So I thought this time around I'm going to listen to them. So I went out and I thought, okay, I'm going to add some like multimedia to my website. At that time there was no one doing it. There was no training. There was nothing available. Like the iPhone hadn't been invented. It was just fly by the seat of your pants. I put my first video up in 2008. Within 60 days, I had measurable results. It was unbelievable. This is just unbelievably powerful. I've got 4 reasons why I think video is a good idea. I'm going to share them with you, and when I'm finished, hopefully, you'll think it's a good idea too. The first is the statistics. I don't want to get them mixed up, so I'm going to read some to you. The National Association of Realtors did a survey last year, and they found that 73% of home sellers said they would like to work with an agent who uses video. 73% of home sellers want an agent who uses video. Cisco Systems. We all know who Cisco is. They're predicting that internet video traffic will be 69% of all global consumer internet traffic by 2017. Less than 2 years away, 69% of all internet traffic, Cisco is predicting will be video traffic. And you can't just turn on the switch and be there. You've got to build a catalog. So you've got to start ahead of the curve. You can't start in 2017 and say, oh, everybody's on video, I better be there, because no one's going to find you. You've got to start earlier than that. Unruly, which is a market studying company in the States, says that video ads increase purchase intent by 97% and brand association by 139%. It's powerful, powerful, powerful stuff. That's reason number 1. 73% of the home sellers want you to use it. Reason number 2, it's free. It's absolutely free. Just about free. I'll bet everybody here has everything you need right now to start shooting, editing, and uploading good quality video without buying anything at all. And if you have to buy something, I'll guarantee you can buy whatever you're missing for less than $100. It's not a lot of money. As your skills evolve, you may choose to upgrade. This is a $700 camera. Truth be told, I just use it as a prop. I probably do less than 3% of my videos with this camera.
Wow.
You don't need it. When you want, if your skills evolve, you may choose to do that just for fun, but you can create effective video with whatever you have right now. It's not hard to do at all. Reason number 3, I'm not going to tell you that it's easy, but I want you to discover that for yourself, because I'll tell you what, you'll be shocked how easy it is. You'll do a couple, and you'll start calling your friends and partners and saying, check this out. You won't believe what I just made. It's just unbelievable. Now, there is a learning curve, but it's a really steep learning curve, which means you learn really, really quickly. The first one's maybe a stinker, but the 3rd or 4th one you do will be phenomenally better than the first one that you did. It's a lot easier than you think. And the 4th reason, how many people are using video now regularly? Regularly. Okay, 2. Take a look around. Leave your hands up. Take a look around, guys. This is a room. This is why I'm so intimidated. This is a room of really good agents who understand the power of language. Everyone in this room should be doing it. I shouldn't be coming here telling you it's a good idea. You should be doing it. But statistically, less than 3% of realtors are using video today. Less than 3%. Think about that. 73%, or 3 out of 4 sellers want their agents to use video. 3 out of 100 agents actually do. Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing.
It's a tremendous opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to step apart from the crowd. But more than that, it's an opportunity for you to differentiate yourself in a marketplace in a way that your clients already see value in, and they're asking for it, and it's cheap. Why would you not even try it? It doesn't make sense not to try it. Those are my 4 reasons. I'm going to go through a bit of a mind fart right now, and I'm just going to go a little bit blank for a second, because this is a presentation I've kind of monkeyed around with. But I want to talk about the why you do video, which is what I just did, and then talk about what you do video about. Because a lot of people, when they think about video, they think automatically about virtual tours. I'm going to use video to showcase my houses, right? And I'm going to suggest to you that's probably the worst thing you can do. It's a useful thing to do, but it's probably the worst way to spend your time using video. Because the most valuable commodity we have is time. And I would suggest to you that if you think about it, there's more powerful ways to use video that would be better uses of your time. So think it through. Because video is a tool. And as a tool, you've got to think about how you want to use it. And you've got to develop a plan for how to use it. So just don't get excited and go and say, oh, I've got this great listing, I'm just going to shoot a video of it. I'm going to spend all day doing it, and I'm going to edit it, and I'm going to put it up. Don't do that. Take a step back and think about, how do I want to build video into my business to build a stronger business to make better connections, and to find a way to make more money. But just take a moment and think about that, because you can use video to showcase houses, absolutely. You can use video to, does anybody have any ideas what you use videos for other than houses? Yeah.
To walk people through the buying or selling process.
Absolutely, help buyers understand the buying process, help sellers understand the selling process, sure. Okay.
Community.
Just lifestyle, community, showcase things, help people understand what it's like to live where you live before they actually move there, right?
Help investors understand the investment process.
Bingo, absolutely. And the children? Yeah.
Attract buyers from overseas who want to move into the area?
Absolutely, absolutely. In every one of those instances, what you're doing is you're helping people understand things they may not already know. You're demonstrating your value. You're helping build into them the idea they need you as a positive resource, that you can use them, that they can use you. It'll be a great way for you to make more money. But as you do that, when you build those videos, they're what we call evergreen. The lifestyle videos is relevant 5 years from now as it was today, right? Helping people buy and sell houses is relevant 5 years from now as it was today. You only do those once and you put them up and they stay there. You do a video for a house, and in theory, you got to take it down when it sells, right? Unless you got written permission from both people. And really, how important is a video of a house going to be after it's sold? So you can build a catalog or an inventory of videos that focus on the buying process, right? That focus on the selling process. Does that make sense to people? So think it through. I did a series for first-time home buyers, and I wrote down every step for the first-time home buying process, and I did a 2-minute video about every step, and then I loaded it onto my website. And when I meet a first-time home buyer, I can say to them, go to my website and click on the first-time buyer link, and we'll talk, and you'll figure out the process, right? And they've got a roadmap. There's a downloadable PDF of the roadmap and everything, and it helps them to understand that you know more about the process than they do. And right away, it builds value into what you're doing and what you're giving them. Yeah.
Just an idea. We have the Facebook. Why don't we start a post on ideas on how to use videos, and we just keep on adding to it, and that post will stay there, and we'll
Awesome.
keep. Because right now we're taking. I see people taking notes, whatever, but in 2 days we'll forget about it.
Sure, sure.
So you start the post.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's a great
Start the
idea.
post tomorrow, and then everybody responds and say, "Oh, you should use it." And now, in 2 months from now, when you decide to do the videos, which you haven't done yet, or 2 years from now, you go back to that post. It'll be there.
No, it's a great idea. It's a great idea.
He's absolutely right about this.
And you have to, it's really important that as you go down that list, you recognize it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. I tell people 1 hour a week. Just block off. If you're time managing by blocking time, block off 1 hour a week. Block off 1 hour on a Friday or a Saturday to do your video. That's all you should spend at it. Yeah.
How long should the videos be?
Between a minute and a half tops, right? Now, I say that, that's what the statistics tell you, you know. Now, I mean, I've watched videos for 20 minutes if I'm interested in them, but the reality of it is most people won't. There's a formula for that. We'll talk about that, okay? But a minute and a half. But block off 1 hour on Friday or Saturday to shoot your video. On Sunday, decide what your video is going to be about. And then all week long, start crafting your video. Don't sit down and craft it. Craft it as you're driving from appointment to appointment. Think about what you want to say as you're walking your dog or washing your car. Get that 1 minute, that 1 minute and 20 seconds internalized through the week, so that when you shoot the video, you're comfortable. We'll talk a little bit more about that. It's important to remember that there's absolutely no limit to what kind of video you can create. And think of it this way. We're all realtors. We've all done open houses, right? And we've all done duty time at one time or another. When you do an open house, we know they don't sell houses. So what's the purpose of doing an open house?
Lead generation.
Okay, sure. You want to, when people come in that don't know you, you're trying to build rapport, demonstrate your value, and make people want to work with you, right? When you're on duty time and someone comes in that you don't know looking for help, what's your purpose there? Same thing. You want to build rapport, demonstrate your value, and make people want to work with you, right? But let me ask you this. The conversation that you have, the questions you ask, the techniques you use at an open house, will it be slightly different than the conversation you're going to have when you're on duty? And it is. It's just a little bit different, isn't it? Because the circumstances are different. You've got to just structure your conversation a little bit differently. Now, think back to your first open house. Were you comfortable? Was it effective? Probably not. You probably stumbled around. You probably weren't very good at it. But with a little bit of practice and a little bit of research, you got better at it, didn't you? It's exactly the same with video. But with video, you've been practicing longer than you've ever practiced either open houses or for duty time. Because before I get in front of my new equipment when I shoot a video, I always go back to my first equipment to make sure I'm on the right track. And I brought my first equipment with me. This is our first video camera right here. No, it is.
What is that?
This is a phone. Here. You take a selfie. Imagine what selfies were like. Yeah, you're like, where'd that come from, right? But anyway, but seriously, every video you do is just a conversation that you've already had. It is. Every video you do is just a you can hold it. It's just millennials, right? Perfect. Here. But it's true. Every video you do is just a conversation you've already had. It's just a conversation. But in this room, and this is why I'm so shocked that no one's doing it here. In this room, this is even more important. It's more relevant. Because in this room, there are real estate agents who understand neuro-linguistic programming, right? Who understand the power of language. Every video you do is just a conversation you've already had, but it's a really special conversation because you're the only one talking. You get to pick the message. You get to pick the structure. You get to pick every word you're going to use. And it's powerful, powerful stuff. Think about it and think about that conversation you're going to have and start building in your embedded commands. Start building in some future pacing. I'm not going to tell you that negation works well, but I'll tell you what, it does. It really does. You use a little negation at the end as to close for your call to action. Don't tell people what you're going to tell them to do, and they'll do it almost every time. It's unbelievably powerful. This can be a clinic for you to practice your skills. And with a little bit of practice, it becomes unbelievably powerful. It really does. I'm thrilled to be here. I didn't know, when Zan first asked me to come to the STAR group, I didn't realize it was a by-referral only oriented type of group. And I was thrilled to find that out because I've been doing with like the dojo and stuff for 5 or 6 years now. And I use it in all of the things that I do. But when I started using video in 2008 is when it really came out, and I thought, my God, it's like you can use like conversational hypnosis techniques. You can build all kinds of stuff into these things. And for the right people, it works. If you use the right technique, and we're going to talk about that. But every conversation, so your content is just a conversation, right? On Sunday, think about the clients you're working with. Think about a question they asked you when you were showing a house. Or think about a challenge you ran into when you were negotiating a deal. Or think about the mortgage they were talking about. And take one point of that and just make that, and then for the next week, create a 1-minute video about that specific point. And the more you can nail it down, the more powerful it becomes. Think about it, if you were to pick up the phone and call a home buyer about home inspections, and then you picked up the phone and called a home seller about the same home inspection, it would be a different conversation, wouldn't it? And why is that? It's because each party has a different outcome, right? They have different concerns, different issues, different anxieties, different worries, different goals, right? So think about the person you're talking to and then identify the emotions that they attach to whatever you're talking about. The negative emotions are the most powerful. Identify their problems, identify their concerns. And then as you craft your message, build in 1 or 2 of those emotions into your story. Use your language and build some stories, build in a couple of those emotions. And then solve them. Solve their problems for them. Now here's the trick, and this is what you all get. Use language that draws them into the video. When you do your video, use language that pulls them in. It's really simple, just by saying you will, or you'll love, or imagine how you'll feel when. But pull them into the story. Because when people see themselves in your story, they start to think that you're talking to them. And that's the golden moment. That's when you make the connection. They start to think you're solving their problems. You understand their issues. You're telling them what problems they don't even know they're going to have yet. It's powerful, powerful stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's extremely powerful. Extremely powerful. So build that in. Identify, understand what you're talking about, who you're talking to, identify the emotions that they are going to feel about it, and then craft your story using language that pulls them in and solve their problem. You're golden. If you write this down, or I'll give it to Zan, maybe you can email it out, I should have brought it with me. DaveChomitz.com is my website, and on it, I believe, I should have checked this morning, I normally have a link up that has a whole page of sample videos of things that I've done for an introduction to a website, or for a buyer, for a seller, that kind of thing. And then There's also a downloadable PDF that has my secret formula form for, like, just fill in the blanks. This is what I'm talking to, this is what I'm talking about, this is what they're going to be worried about, and then craft your story. Start thinking about it on Sunday, and then think about it all week long as you're driving from place to place and that kind of thing, and say it out loud, so that on Friday when you go to shoot it, it's comfortable, it's internalized, and you feel like you're having a conversation, because it's really important. When someone looks at your video, they feel you're talking to them. It has to be relaxed. Excuse me. It has to be conversational. It's good if it appears to be spontaneous. I've had people say to me, Dave, it's so good to meet you, because you're just like, I feel like I know you. You're just the same on your videos as you are. It's so cool, you know? And I did one on Canada Day last year, was how Canadian is this? Or what's more Canadian than that? And I was driving up Highway number 7 to my mother-in-law's cottage to put the dock in, and I pulled over the side of the road. And I had been thinking about this for about 4 or 5 days. I pulled over by the side of the road and I said, I'm going up to the cottage to put my mother-in-law's dock in. What's more Canadian than that? But then I had to have a leak, so I stopped on the side of Highway 7 here outside of Calgary. I mean, what's more Canadian than that, right? And I find there's a beaver pond over here. Like, what's more Canadian than a beaver pond? And anyway, so I did it.
I need to see that.
I had a guy who's a video guru from Vancouver. We did a panel in Calgary in January. And when we met, I'd never met him before. In fact, he's a Remax guy, I'm a Royal LePage guy. We never actually interacted before. And he came up and he almost gave me a hug. He said, I feel like I know you. He said, I just feel like I know you. Dave, he said, I can't believe a guy would be driving on the highway and just stop to have a leak and do a video about it. And I said, well, I didn't. I mean, are you kidding me? Of course I didn't. That was structured. Go back and watch it again. There's a lot of language in there, and that was not a beaver pond. It was just a puddle. Just like are you kidding me? No, it's just. But it's so you can structure this. If you're going to talk, it is an absolutely wonderful thing. If you're going to do a video to a home buyer about home inspections to tell them how wonderful it is, stand in front of your electrical panel and have a screwdriver in your hand. They'll watch it forever, right? That's the context, right?
Wow.
They'll say, that's an electrical panel?
Exactly. They'll watch the whole video waiting for you to take it apart. You're not going to take it apart. So I've never had this conversation with other agents because they wouldn't understand. This is fantastic. I'm having so much fun. But it works. The thing is, it works. It's not in every video there's 3 parts. There's the words, there's the sound, and there's the video itself. The words are the absolute most important. The absolute most important. Think of the video, think of it as spaghetti. The sauce is the video. The spaghetti is the words. The pasta is the words. That's the part you want. You can eat sauce forever and die. It's the pasta that you need for nourishment, right? The message you're sending is the pasta. Take the time, structure it. It's powerful, powerful stuff. The videos isn't as important at all. I've done extremely powerful videos just standing in front of a brick wall. Because it's not about what's back here. It's what's coming out here. That's the message. That's the important part. Sound is more important than the picture because studies have shown that people will click away from a video that has bad sound even if the quality of the picture is excellent. If they can't hear it, they won't watch it. People will watch a shaky video that has excellent sound. If the message is good, they'll watch a shaky video longer than they'll watch one that has bad sound, which just reinforces the whole concept. It's the words. It's the message that's most important. So really focus on that. Okay. Any questions yet?
Can we see one?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't bring any. No, I didn't bring any.
We can pull one. Huh?
We can pull
Oh, well, we can do that. Sure, yeah, we can do that. Sure, but, okay, sure. But the reason I didn't bring any is I don't want to. This is a tool, okay? And oftentimes people get all excited about watching a video. It's not about that. Understand how it works. Understand how it works, and then we can pull one up. That's not a problem at all. But first, let's talk about how you actually do it.
Yeah.
The equipment. The equipment. Where's my little book over here? You don't have to buy anything at all. I'm assuming that almost everybody in the room is going to have one of these. Just a digital camera. This is the camera that we bought when we stopped buying film, right? You must have one in a closet somewhere, right?
Yeah.
You know. I would suggest to you, these are great ones to practice on. Great ones to practice on for a couple of reasons. As you're working on the dialogue you're going to use, the content of your video. Do you have a quarter?
No, I don't. Anybody with a coin?
The money man does.
The money man does, absolutely. So there are, I'm sorry, is there anyone here who doesn't have a smartphone? Okay, so we've all got a camera in our pocket then, right? They make it easy. And they almost make it so easy that you can develop some really bad habits. And the foundation of using any tool is understanding how it works and being sure that you're aware of them. Just the foundational things that you have to be aware of. This camera will make you do that. One of these cameras will make you pause just long enough to develop a couple of habits that you really should carry forward as you go forward. Smartphones make it so darn easy, and I'm sure you've seen them online. You've seen videos online of agents or of other people that are doing it, and you guys go, what a stupid thing to talk about. Because it's so darn easy that you don't even have to think about what you're doing. These guys will make you think a little bit. In the first place, the second most important part of the video is the sound. Most of these cameras don't receive an external microphone. They only have a built-in microphone, an onboard mic. It's called an omnidirectional microphone, which means it picks up everything. So there'll be places where this camera won't do a very good job. You can't go out on a windy day. You can't go into a restaurant. You can't go into a noisy room. It'll pick up everything. It'll sound terrible. But there are places where this camera will sound excellent. It'll do a phenomenal job. So using this camera will make you think about your sound, make you aware that you have to be aware of your sound, right? And just so find the place where it works really well. It works really well in a car. A lot of soft surfaces. You get great sound in a car.
So it's like that video of the cop who's singing Taylor Swift song?
Could be.
That went viral?
Yeah, it could be. It could be. This camera, too, doesn't have a backward-facing viewer, so you can't see what you're shooting, right? And that's a good thing, because that makes you think about what you're shooting. Makes you think about it. And so you think about your framing. Framing is really important to use it effectively. And framing is how you stand in the picture. I used to stand here, right in the middle of the frame, because that's what I thought you were supposed to do. I would be right in the middle of the frame, and I'd be talking, and that's the way I thought it was supposed to be. I learned that cinematographers have something called the rule of thirds. Imagine your screen divided in thirds, both ways. Stand where those lines intersect, so that if you're standing here and 2/3 of the screen is vacant, it's more effective. If, because we're North American and we read from left to right, if you stand on the left side of your screen and leave the right side 2/3 vacant, people will naturally look that way, and they will anticipate something happening in the frame. It'll keep them a little bit longer. It'll make them stay on your screen just a little bit longer in anticipation. What I often do with my lifestyle videos particularly is I will look for a scene that reinforces what I'm talking about. So we're a beautiful waterfront community an hour east of Toronto. A big part of our business is retirees. So I'll go down to the harbor and I'll stand so the boats are coming in and out, and I'll talk just about my community. I might not be talking about boats, but that people will watch the boats. I don't care what they're watching, they're hearing what I'm talking about, right? They're gonna hear the message that I'm giving them. So try and think of something that's curious or interesting behind you. As I say, if it's a home inspections, have an electrical panel here. Have a screwdriver here, and just talk about whatever you want to talk. But you don't have to talk about wiring, you talk about insulation. They'll still wait for you to take that cover off. It works every time. Does that make sense? Okay. So this one, so you got it framed right. This particular camera is, it's got this guy. So there's no backward-facing camera. The most critical part of the physical part of shooting a video is making eye contact with the lens. Because when someone watches that video, they're looking at their screen, and if your eyes aren't looking at them, they're not making that connection with them, right? You've got to make that eye contact. With the backward-facing camera on an iPhone, the tendency is to watch yourself.
Yeah.
And as soon as you do that, you're looking over someone's shoulder. You're not looking at people anymore, right? You're not looking at the lens any longer. And with an iPhone, like the lens is actually this little, you can't even see it, it's a little dot on the very edge of the camera, right? So there's a tremendous temptation to watch the center of your camera, watch you, and as soon as you do that, you stop making eye connections, and your video becomes ineffective immediately. Does that make sense? So, with this camera, you can't go wrong. You can't miss it. You gotta look right there. You gotta look right there. And with a little bit of practice, the first couple of videos that you do, on Sunday you get the idea, maybe on Wednesday you take 5 or 10 minutes, you set this up someplace and you think about, how am I gonna frame it? Where do I have to stand to get the right sound? I know with this camera, because I've used it so much, if I stand right here, I'll get excellent sound. If I stand here, this close, it'll reverberate a little bit, and if I stand back here, it'll sound like I'm in a cave. Just get the right distance, a little bit of practice, makes you aware of it. Makes you, it's really important to learn that.
Height of the camera.
Pardon me?
Height of the camera. Where'd you?
Well, it depends on how you feel about it. And sometimes,
Depends how tall you are.
depends how tall you are.
Well, I mean in terms of when
Yeah.
you're doing it.
I watch other people's videos, and sometimes I like the effect myself of people looking down on me a little bit. So I tend to keep my camera a little bit below my eye level, so that I not that I appear taller, but I appear superior, I suppose, maybe the way someone might say it, right? But it's you know that. But then again, I see other ones where people are looking like you're looking up at the camera. It just depends on the situation, I suppose, you know. But it's again, experimentation, whatever you're comfortable with. But that's a very good question, and no one's ever asked me that before. And it's something to consider, because how you portray yourself on the screen is going to help people either be comfortable or uncomfortable with you, right? So I rarely do a video where I'm not dressed like this, no matter what time of day it is. I'm not always wearing pants, because I do my, like I do in my No, I wear shorts, you know.
So what you're saying is, don't watch the bottom half of the video.
No, but like in my office, I got a little coat rack, right? Depending on the jacket I want or whatever. And on one of them or something, like for a couple of times I didn't have a tie, so I put a scarf on. Even though I had sports, but I put a scarf on kind of thing, because I wanted to create an image, right? And it's important to do that. And again, watch other people's videos, even on YouTube. You'll see the spontaneous ones where people will just get up and you know they're just winging it. They're just winging it. And it's really ineffective, because the whole world knows they're just winging it. And if there was a message in that video, it's lost. Because the power of the video is the message, it's not the show. Don't start doing this to be the show person. It's a powerful, powerful tool. I'll tell you, I'll ramble here for a while.
We've got time.
Is that time? The reason I got into video, as I said, my sites weren't getting the traffic that they should have. The fellow said add multimedia video. We've all been here for a while, I think. Does anybody remember real estate before the internet?
Yes.
Good. Well, okay. Well, that's when this was really powerful, right? Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah.
They were black, not that color.
Well, okay. True enough. So, I thought, you know what? I used to have really good phone skills, and it's a skill, right? Using the telephone properly in your business was a skill that you could learn. It was a learnable skill. So, exactly. So I thought, well, what if I could take it? This is the only reason I get into video. What if I could create my phone spiel on the internet, so someone wouldn't have to call me? They could still hear what I wanted, what I would normally say to them on a phone call. That was my goal. That's all I wanted to do with video initially. And it worked. It worked right away. There's no question it worked right away. But it was a very carefully worded, carefully constructed, very pointed call. The same as when I was on duty time and I got a sign call, I didn't answer that phone by accident. I was in a slow market. If you weren't good on the phone, you didn't eat very well. You know, that was the world we lived in back then, right? You know, so
Good.
yeah, but it's true. So I approach video the same way. It's not a show. It's not about the show. It's about the skills that you bring to it. And if you were good on the phone, you will be excellent at video. There's no question about it. You just take some time and think about it. Absolutely. So I can't have this conversation with people that have been in the business for 6 years. They just don't get it. They just don't understand it. Everyone in this room should have a catalog of videos, and you'll be surprised. I mean, if you want to build new business on the internet, or you can use it to reinforce old relationships. One thing I was going to tell you the story. So I had this condo site, and we don't have a lot of condos where I am, but we have 5 or 6 of them. And I have a condo site, and I built this introduction for my condo site. And one day I got a phone call from a lady, and she said, "Hi, my name's Mary, and I'm one of those people." And I said, "You one of what people?" And she said, "I'm one of those people that need to buy a condo. I need you to help me." And I said, "Oh, okay, that's nice, Mary. Thanks so much." You know, I said, "The way I like to work is I have people come in for the first time, because she's coming from out of town. Come in, we'll have an interview in my office, and then we'll see if Cobra's a fit for you, or if I'm a fit for you, and then we'll go and look at properties another day. So come down one day, we'll do that." And so we made an appointment a week from Friday, 11 o'clock. That Friday morning, I had a 9 o'clock and a 10 o'clock, and then I had Mary at 11. And my 9 o'clock, they were all in the office. My 9 o'clock was, I was in one of those zones where you get there. We've all got there, right? Where you're on. And my 9 o'clock was a real tough appointment. I got it done, got the property listed. 10 o'clock was a counter offer with a family that I'd worked with before, and I knew they were really chatty. And it was going to be hard to keep the conversation directed where it had to go in an hour, because they could easily tie up a half a day if you let them, right? So I was going through that, and I was really on my game. At 5 to 11, I stood up so they knew the appointment was over. They stood up, and our office is in a mall. So when I take someone out of the closing room, I walk to the front of our office, it's all glass, and I open the door, and I walked them out into the mall, right? And as I opened the door for them, I scanned the mall and I made eye contact with a lady about 15 feet away. And in that instant, I knew that she knew me and she liked me, right? It was absolutely clear, right? In that same instant, it was absolutely clear to her that I had no idea who she was. Right?
Well, you knew her.
And we all been there, right? And in that same instant, it was clear to me that she was disappointed that I didn't recognize her. We've all done that. So it all happened like in less than a blink of an eye. I ushered the people out, shook hands, said thanks, I'll be in touch when I see you again, type of thing. And then she was still there, so I started walking over, and I thought, how am I going to get out of this one? And we've all done that. And I walked over, and she said, I said hi. She said, you don't remember me, do you? And I said, and she said, I'm married. And I said, oh, and that didn't ring a bell either. I said, oh, she said, we have an 11 o'clock appointment day. And I said, oh, Mary. She said, yeah. And I said, Mary, have we ever met? And this is exactly what she said to me. She stopped for a moment, she started to smile, and she said, you've never met me. She already knew me. Right? She already liked me. We were already friends as far as she was concerned, but we'd never met face to face. 2 weeks later, Mary bought a condo. It's a powerful, powerful tool. And it's a great filter. Because I don't have any idea how many Marys don't like me on video and don't call me. Right? So you only get when people call you, they already know you, they already like you, they already trust you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's just amazing. So you're practicing your sounds, you're practicing your speech, you're shooting your video, you've got your framing right, you've spent all week putting together your 1 minute, 1 minute and 20 seconds. Every video is built the same way. The start of every video, tell people who you are and what you do. Always, always, always. My catch line is, I'm Dave Chomitz, I'm your real estate guy, 60 miles east of Toronto. I say that every time. That's why I want to brand myself. Think of who you are, what you do, and do it consistently over and over and over again. And you do it at the start of your video, because every video you do, if you do it the way I'm suggesting you do it, is going to be about a specific topic. It's not going to be general. And the more you narrow it down, the more you drill it down, the more powerful it is to the person who's interested in whatever you're talking about. So if you're doing videos about home inspections from a buyer's perspective, a buyer would be interested in that. A seller might not care about it at all. So in the first part of your video, if someone clicks on it, you want to make sure they know who you are and what you do before they leave. Does that make sense? The end of every video, is built exactly the same way. Have a call to action. Tell people what you want them to do, and they will do it. Not every time. But I'll guarantee you, if you don't tell them what you want them to do, they won't do anything. And I've experimented with this. Even my videos on Facebook, I'll do a video and I'll say, if we're not connected, go up here and let's be friends. And if you do that, I'll get 2 or 3 friend requests every time I say that at the end of one of my videos. If I don't say it, I never get any. But this is a great place for your NLP to come in. Tell people what you want them to do by not telling them what you want them to do. Lead them. Make them comfortable calling you, right? All those things. I don't know if everyone here watches the dojo or not, but take the last bit of everything that Joe says and just put it in your own words and plug it in. And it's just powerful, powerful stuff. And then at the end of every video includes your licensing requirement information to be RICO compliant. Okay? Make every video because every video you do is considered advertising. Right now, no one's looking, but when they do, you don't want them coming along saying your videos aren't compliant. Take them down. And the easiest way to do that is just take a snapshot of your business card and just stitch it at the end of the video, and you're good. You're golden. If you're graphics inclined, if you're good at that kind of stuff, you can make something fancy up and something custom up if you want to. But your business card should be RICO compliant. So just take a snapshot of that, stick it at the end. You're good. Because the power of the video is that it's there over a length of time. That's why I personally don't like virtual tours. It's there over time. It builds. Google owns YouTube, right? So when you upload your videos to YouTube, you want them there. The longer they're there, the more authority they gain. So you don't want someone to come along and say, "Oh, geez, your videos aren't compliant. You better do them over again." And it's easy enough to take them down and do them over again, but then you're starting from scratch again. Get them up there and put them up there so they work and so they're compliant, and you'll be there forever.
How long should I leave my YouTube videos up? Because I've got some that are private now. The property is sold, And I had one client that bought the
Yeah,
property
yeah.
call me and says, I want that taken down.
Mhm.
So,
And well, they should.
yeah.
Absolutely. So you gotta take it down. So you wasted, not to point my finger at you, but you wasted the hour or 2 or 3, if you did it yourself, or the $500 whatever you spent is gone, right? If that video had been about something that was evergreen, then it would still be there. But when you have to take it down, like, in theory, when a house sells, that property should come down without written permission from both the buyer and the seller to continue marketing it, right? That's the rule. It's the same as anything, same as on your website. So, and that's why, and truthfully, and I started off doing, at one point I got this wonderful idea to do virtual tours. This was in 2009, and in 2009 nobody was doing virtual tours. So I thought, well, I'm going to do that. I'm going to have this kind of pan through the whole place, and I'm going to be standing in the kitchen, and I'm going to, just like a movie star, and I'm going to edit it so that I come along and I can tell them how wonderful the house is, and then go and stand in the playground and tell them how nice the playground is. And it took me all day. It took a whole day. It was a lot of work, an awful lot of work. Property sold, I took it down. And I thought, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense, you know. And the reality of it is most of the public don't know the difference between a video virtual tour and a whole lot of still shots that are stitched together with transitions in them that move in the pan, you know. And
It's just video.
it's just, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Just some technical stuff.
Yeah.
Microphones.
Yes.
What do you, I've watched some of yours, you know,
Yeah.
you've got your selfie
Yeah.
stick or
Yeah.
whatever, walking on the beach.
Yeah.
What are you using for sound?
Okay, so then we'll move. But thank you for I turned you off on track. That's great. That's the as you evolve, and maybe after the first 2 or 3, you might say, okay, this is good. I've got the foundational skills I want to have, but it's a little bit cumbersome. Editing is a bit of a pain in the neck, and I want to try and I want to make it a little bit easier. So that's when you would move to your smartphone. And as I say, the smartphone makes it so darn easy. Smartphones receive external microphones, so you can improve your sound, right? Smartphones receive external microphones. Higher quality cameras will receive an external microphone. As soon as you are able to plug an external microphone into your camera, your apparatus, you open up all kinds of opportunities for recording in environments where you couldn't record otherwise, right? And so then there are a number of ways to do that. First, let's talk about your smartphone. Now, just not to show off or anything, but this was my first selfie stick. I got this in 2010. Because at that time, smartphones didn't exist, right? So I used to take this one out, and I'd put my whole camera on, my big camera on it, and you could do a video of yourself. Because I didn't want to, this style of standing in a studio or standing in front of something is great, but a lot of my videos I want them to appear spontaneous. So if I was doing lifestyle videos and we're having a beach volleyball tournament, it was a spectacular beach in Coburg, I'd go down to the beach volleyball tournament and I would have my camera and I would be able to pan, and with a little bit of practice you would get the hang of how to frame it, and you take a look and see what was behind you, and you make sure that you were getting it just the way you wanted it, and you could do a more interesting video that people would watch a little bit longer and hear your message a little bit longer. Because the trick is just make it interesting enough that they actually hear what you're saying, right? But then the smartphones came along, and this became the selfie stick, right? We've all seen these?
Yeah.
So then the challenge was, how do you hold the camera to it? Because the phone doesn't have the same thing as the camera has, right? So this is called a glyph. You can buy, nowadays, you can buy these things at Henry's or almost anywhere. Okay, what's that one?
Just
Okay,
put it
sure,
on
sure.
like that.
They've become quite.
Just $10.
Yeah, available now.
Where'd you get that?
See?
Probably at
Just
Best Buy.
Yeah, okay.
Best Buy. We got a drugstore.
Yeah, okay. I'm so glad you brought this, Kirby. This is not the one you want to buy. Right? Don't buy this one.
That's why it's $10.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the one now. This is an X shot. It doesn't matter what the brand name is. This one has a groove up the side. So as you're walking, it can't turn. Like it's only oriented one way. This is like an old car radio aerial,
Yes.
right? So I won't do it, Kirby. But if you could twist it and it would slide around on you.
You can turn it.
You can turn
See
it.
if it.
No.
See if it
Once you do it
turns.
once, it's looser and looser and looser. So I won't do it on you. But it'll do that, right? So this was $10. This is $20.
Get a $20.
So what the heck, right? Well, I bought this one online, but I bought this one before they were available in Canada. Like that was 2 years ago. You can buy them at Henry's. You can buy them at Henry's now. You can buy them. You can buy them like in all kinds of places, and it's not about the dollars. You'll pay $20 for like for a good one. This is called an X shot.
An X shot?
That's what it's called. It's called an X shot. Pass it down.
There's some with Bluetooth right in the handle too.
Yeah, I've got one of those as well. Yeah, it's no, someone brought me one. I didn't bring it with me today. Someone brought me one from the States. I don't know if they're available in Canada yet or not. Are they? But I couldn't get my particular one. It'll take a picture by Bluetooth, but it won't turn the video on and off by Bluetooth. I don't know
And
what
the
that
guy in our office has, it's got a remote.
Yeah, you can buy a remote too. Like, yeah, absolutely. It's constantly evolving. Yeah.
Have you seen the one called Stable Cam?
Yep.
Very good.
Absolutely. So, but don't get hung up on the equipment until you've got. But absolutely, and you can once you decide the kind of video that you want to create, you will be able to find equipment that'll make it easy for you to do. Right? When I first started doing it, this didn't exist, so I was using this with my iPhone, but there was no way to attach the telephone to it. So I bought an iPhone case and glued a nut to it so I could, get it on. I called it the iNut. I thought I was going to make a fortune, but anyway. But then this one came out for $20. And this is what I use to attach it to the stick. This is called a glyph. It's American. You can buy them again. You can buy them at Henry's. You can buy them other places now. Every week there's a new place coming out a new style coming out that'll get it. You can get it with. This one was made for the iPhone 4S. When the 5 came out, they told me you had to buy a new one, but you don't. It fits in there. Everyone's trying to cash in on the technology.
If you want to line up though, you get the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I think there's a thing with certain, perhaps millennials. If it's new, they like the line.
Okay, sure, maybe that's it. But yeah. Anyway, so these phones, your phone and a higher quality camera will receive a external microphone. Can I borrow yours?
How much are the external microphones?
How much?
Yeah.
Well, that depends on how much you want to spend. There's no limit to it at all, right? I'm gonna share this with you. Put this in here.
The external microphone just fits in on your phone?
It just goes in the earbuds.
Yeah, you just,
This is a lavalier microphone.
yes.
I bought this one at. This particular one I bought at the Source.
Mm-hmm.
I paid $15 for it. It has a 16-foot or 12-foot lead on it. But the reality of it is, I never get more than 3 or 4 feet away from my camera.
Right.
So I mean, I don't need to be a long ways away. This is fun. But this particular microphone only has 2 lines on the jack. Okay, the smartphones won't work on this microphone. So you have to buy another part.
Of course.
Has to have three?
It has 3. This one's got 3, right?
So sorry, is that one just for one person or is that for a group?
This is for one person. One person. We're not. Yeah,
That's
that's right.
Because I bought one from Long McQuaid. It was
Yes.
300, I think.
Okay, yeah, you can do that.
And it's it's up to the SLR, which I'm assuming it would also hook up to the iPhone.
Well, no.
If you had the.
Yeah, we need the adapter. This one will work on the DSLR just like this,
Yeah.
but if I want to put on a smartphone, I have to add the other part, which has the 3 lines on it. This was $18.
So the only issue that I ran into was when I'm doing a testimonial video where there's a husband and wife, you can't use that.
Yeah, see, that's what I've been wondering about.
Okay, that's easy. If you're editing, because I think I have a contentimonial, right? Not a testimonial, right? And again, the testimonials are powerful, powerful, powerful. Have the people structure it so that people tell their story, and at the end, tell them how then to say and my agent was wonderful.
No, but the concept of the 2 microphones
Sure.
instead of 1. Right?
So then I'll use this, just an MP3 player, right? Record on this, have one person wear the lav. You put another lav into this if you chose to, another microphone into this. It's a digital recording.
Then you're requiring more editing, no?
Well, if you're recording 2 tracks, so that's a little bit, yeah. But you're going to be editing with that kind of a video anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to do it without editing. It's not once you get the hang of it. It's lining up the sound tracks is really simple. Everyone's seen the movies when they have that black and white board and they do this, right? Well, just do that. It makes a spike in your audio track. Just line up that spike and you're good to go in about 2 seconds. It's
And what editing software are you using?
I'm using Sony Platinum 12 now.
Is that a Windows thing or?
Yeah, it's a Windows thing.
Windows.
We're kind of jumping around a bit, which is
Sorry,
fine. No, that's
sorry.
okay. No, that's good. That's good. So editing. If
Well, hang on, we'll finish on the.
okay, the microphone's on. Okay.
Sorry.
So an external microphone, lavalier mic. You can spend $10, $15. You can spend $300, $400. You can spend $2,000.
There must be just a direct mic now for an iPhone.
There is.
Yeah.
This is an iRig microphone. It's made specifically for the OS system, right? The
What is it?
iRig.
iRig?
Yeah, iRig. This is an excellent microphone, and it has 3 settings, so it can be omnidirectional. It will pick up everything in the room, or it can be just an average one where you can use it for interviews. Which when I do a great use of videos is to showcase businesses in your community. Then you can leverage that. They'll show, once you do that video, they will show it to their community, right? You can show it to your community, and it made a lot of the synergies just amazing. This is great for that because you can actually interview someone you feel like you're in the newsroom, right?
I think it's some of the ones you just clip to your lapel.
That's the lavalier mic. You can do that as well.
What's that one called?
But that connects to an iPhone, or do you have to get the adapter?
No, this one plugs right into the iPhone.
Okay.
This one only works on an iPhone.
Right. But I'm just saying they've got the ends though that are just the lapel and not the big mic.
For the iRig?
For iRigs.
Are you asking me or telling me?
I'm asking.
I don't know.
Oh.
Okay, no, I don't know. I've never seen one, but they may. $68.
$16.
$68.
Where'd you get that?
I bought this one at Canada Computers, but you can get it at Best Buy. You know, Canada Computers was, yeah, well, yeah, in fact, I think Chapters even sell them now, I think. I'm not sure. Some Chapters have an iPhone or an i thing, right? Okay, so plug in a microphone, you can get it. External microphones, you can use lavaliers, you can use this kind. You can, depending on what you're doing with it, on the context you're using it in. You shouldn't spend, you'll get good sound. I mean,
yeah.
I'll tell you what, my first computer I had was one of those $10, because again, this was 2009. I bought one of those $10 computer microphones, one of those little black square things that you used to plug in, and I put it's like craft day at the Chomitz house. I took an empty toilet paper roll and a little sponge, and I stuck it on the top and shut the microphone out the back and pulled it out the top, and I just walked around like this. People thought I had a microphone, like it was a real microphone. Like you would never know. It's unbelievable. The sound was great. The sound was absolutely great. Yes.
Will that work in a loud restaurant?
Yes. Yeah, you can.
If you're with husband, wife, you know, you put it on the mention. So what are the 3 settings? Just like just one person?
No. The 3 settings are, if you can set it so I would have to literally talk loud right here for it to come through. So like in a loud restaurant or like a windy day, I've gone out and shot videos in the middle of a blizzard and it picks up fine without any wind noise. The average setting is when you could have just a regular conversation and it would pick up David and I, but it wouldn't pick up you probably. And the other one would pick up everyone in the room.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Yeah, it's excellent. It's excellent.
Is it good to get those foam things that go on top?
The windsock, they call it? Well, this guy's got something built inside. I've never used it for this.
Okay.
So, but some microphones do. That's the windsock, is when as soon as you go outdoors, it starts picking up more noise, right?
So iPad versus iPhone, do you think an iPad's just a better tool to take good video because you have sort of a bigger picture?
I hate it. I never use it. I did once, and I tell you, it's hard to hold still. The quality of the picture's no better. You touch the screen, and it's a mess. Like, and for me, I did it twice. I lied. The second time I did it, it was mounted in a tripod, so I could just touch the button, and that would be the end of it.
Yeah.
Right? It's important, folks, that the most important part of the video is your speech, like is the language, right, and it's the way you talk. Teleprompters, stay away from them, because it's only a minute and a half. Take a week, get it in your head so you can talk. As soon as you start watching the teleprompter, you lose total connection with the person who's watching your video. Right? Just look right into the lens, make that eye contact. And that's not a comfortable thing to do. Am I done?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're done with me, because this was volume 1.
Oh, all right.
And I'm sure that we would love to have Dave back, so I want to thank you.
Oh my
God. When I first spoke to Dave about doing this, I said, should we prepare any video stuff for you?